Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, where today we are checking out honeycombmods.com and their general aviation pack. This is going to be more for the twin engine package, but they have a bunch of different handles you guys can check out. And today I get the chance to try out these ones. I have definitely been searching for a really good brand of aftermarket mods for twin engine aircraft. I've seen a bunch from like, for example, Flight Sim Factory in regard to the commercial aircraft, but I really wanted a nice set for general aviation. In this case, something like the Baron G58 or the Duke would be in mind. And today we're going to try them out, and I'm going to show you guys what I think. So stick around.
If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below.
All right, you guys, once again, welcome back to the channel. And today, as I said, we are checking out a new developer, to me anyway. He's been around for quite a while, very clearly, but he reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked if I'd be interested in checking out some of his controls. Now, I've worked a lot with FlightSimFactory.com. There are a lot of developers that do this. As you guys know, I am not exclusive to anyone. I refuse to ever be. So, with that in mind, and that's not to shoot anyone down, by the way, that's just to state where I'm at. I always want to be showing you guys all the different options that are out there, and this is just another fantastic developer. So what do we have here? Here we have, for $60 US, you get the twin engine real feel, is calling it, flight controls. This idea, like we talked about earlier, has the idea with the 60 Duke, the King Air style, metal throttle prop and condition levers. Now here's what I really like about these as we start getting into this right away, and then I'm going to show you guys some of the other options they have on the website, and a link to this of course will be down in the description below. But let's bring this up for a second so you guys can check out. So first up, these are very, very tight fitting, okay? So one of the things that even his documentation does state is you do not want to grab them from here to pull them off, always grab from the base. I have found bringing them down here and then taking your thumb and popping them off, but they are tough, and that is by design, so that way they don't wiggle. But they are an aluminum shaft, which is very, very nice and very different from some of the other developers that I've seen that do this, and they fit and they feel really nice. The fit on them, let me bring that up just a bit so you guys can see a little bit better, is just really nice. So you give them a nice little, there's push on, and then give it a nice shove down there, and it gets it all the way in there. Now what I really like is look at the size of these handles. So that's just your throttle. Okay, so they have a really nice, very, very, very comfortable feel to them that I really enjoy. And that's something that I'm always looking for. The other thing that I really like about these is, if you can see, I hope the camera's relaying it well, but you can see it in the image on the website, right in here. You guys can hopefully see that they are very much so stepped, right? So they're different heights, and it makes it very nice to feel where you're at based on the flight control. So this is very helpful for something like in virtual reality especially, but they have a nice step to them, so that way you can very quickly ascertain where you're at in the sequence, where, for example, the default controls, they're all level height, so you sort of have to, in VR especially, count where you're at. Where these, it makes it very, very quick to go prop, mixture, and know exactly where you are. Now that's something minor, but it adds to the feature. Now let's talk about this one here for a second, because I'm sure everyone's interested. These are not electronic. There we go. They aren't electronic. Some people like to go the electronic route, others don't, and that's totally fine. But again, I think the trade-off, and the reason why these aren't electronic, the biggest kicker here is going to be the aluminum shafting. So where the plastic ones, like we saw with Flight Sim Factory, you get all the electronics, which are fantastic, by the way, especially for the commercial aircraft. Everything from the reverse thrust to your togas to your auto throttles, they are fantastic. But this is a nice option if you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper. Admittedly, they are. The honeycombmods.com is a cheaper option than what you will find with Flight Sim Factory. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of their other options, and you guys can see pretty quickly what the focus there is, because I want both of these companies to make sure they continue to get recognition. So if we come back a little bit, you can see the primary focus here on his website. Let me get the honeycomb out of the way here. you can see the primary focus on the website is general aviation. Okay, there's not a whole lot of commercial happening here. And so that's the nice part, where I would say flightsimfactory.com, for example, is the opposite. Very high, strong focus in commercial aircraft, which again is very awesome. It is needed. But you're not going to get the electronics and things like that with them, but look at the price. There's a significant price difference between the two companies, but there's also feature difference. So I really wanted to point both of these companies out in this example because they both are companies that I want to represent on this channel, but they both have their strong points. So I wanted to make sure that you guys understood why I was bringing this company up as well. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic for your general aviation configurations. I'm really pleased with these. I did a flight in these in the Baron G58 last night, and the experience was perfect. Now, I was going to do a flight with you guys here on the channel right now, but it doesn't really quite make sense for this particular kind of video. I think it's better just to express the feel. One of my favorite parts about this are going to be by far the throttles themselves. The action of being able to comfortably grip these. And the other thing that I recommend with any of these modifications when you start getting into the real world size is cranking up your tension on the Bravo. Make it really tight, because the larger the handle, the increased leverage point, right, the increased torque that you're going to give to it. So by increasing that tension, you're going to have a much finer and smoother action all the way through. I mean, if I try to take my fingers and just tap it, I mean, I'm hitting it hard. I really am, but they create such a smooth action all the way through. There's no stuttering, no bouncing of the throttle. So you can crank this up really high and then get a really nice finite control. So like, for example, one of the big ones would be, adjusting your mixture to lean. Take your thumb and you can really get it in a nice feel while having that large handle feel. And they are significantly bigger. These are much larger than the default. The default, if we were to do a comparison, unfortunately I put them away yesterday. Sorry, I don't want to go and get them. God dang, these things stick. The default one would probably be almost sitting inside this, a little bit outside, but not by much. And you wouldn't think that that would make a huge difference, but it does. I really appreciate the craftsmanship and the printing. The other thing that I really like about these, as we've mentioned before, is the aluminum handles. I think that adds an incredible aesthetically pleasing feel to these. Really adds and blends well with the Bravo itself. So that was a really nice idea for these, and it's definitely showing. It feels different. It's another. This is going to sound silly, guys, but bear with me. It's another piece of immersion that really adds a lot, because when you reach down in here and your hands are draped over, you're not feeling plastic, you're feeling metal. And that adds, you wouldn't think that it would, but it's just, again, it comes back to, like I'm always talking about, every little piece of immersion that brings it up a little higher, you get more of that benefit out of it. And so this is just another one of those things that keeps you inside the immersive experience of the aircraft. But my biggest thing is the throttle handles. The throttle handles feel amazing. Yes, I wish that these were electronic, but again, given the way that these are aluminum shafting, it makes sense that they're not. But it is definitely a really nice set. I very much so recommend these. I sat here, I caught myself doing it last night as I was editing the video for the chase plane. I was sitting here doing this back and forth. That's why, if you guys saw in my yesterday's video with Chase Plane, if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you do, because it breaks down how to do custom cameras in Chase Plane, as well as some of the advantages of using it with something like a Stream Deck. But anyway, I was in the Baron G58, the black square analog version, and that's why. It's because I was playing with this thing, and I was just going back and forth, just kept doing this over and over. And it's one of those things that's very fun, very soothing to do. If you like that, what is it, AMSR or whatever the hell the damn abbreviation is. We have abbreviations for everything now. So I think the price point is absolutely perfect. The delivery, they all came in a nice, tightly wrapped, they were taped up here all at the bottom together with a nice plastic package around them inside of a bubble wrap and boxing. So you don't really have to worry about any kind of damage happening to those. So that was a really nice benefit as well. I do pay attention to boxing. The only time that I actually really do unboxings usually is either if it's very like out of this world kind of product that I really want to check out and just show everything, or if actually the boxing is damaged, that's when I'll typically do an unboxing to see how it was protected. So anyway, there wasn't much of an issue there at all. Very, very simple to set up. Obviously, the nice thing about these and not having any kind of other detents to worry about is that it's just plug and play. You pop them on, you're good to go, you're on your way. So anyway, this is a really short review, but I'm going to be live streaming here in about an hour or two, you guys. We're going to be flying around in the Baron G58. These will be on camera, so make sure you guys check that out. Also, if you guys haven't already, make sure you join the Discord. I'd love to be able to chat with all of you guys. I've been helping people out all week long who have been reaching out to me, and it's another fun experience for me. I like being able to give back to everybody, and it's a lot of fun. So, and then the other thing is, if you guys do like this video, please be sure to hit that like button. It really does make a difference with the algorithm in YouTube. I'm not going to beat around the bush. That is what separates the low-end viewers from the high-end viewers. So if you guys enjoyed it, do me a favor and just tap that like button. It really does help me out. As always, folks, leave your questions, comments down below. A link to the purchase site will be in the description. Thank you to the developer for providing these to me. And guys, stay tuned for that live stream tonight where you'll get to see them in action as we fly the Baron G58. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.